Rusty Cheese Knife, thanks for $5. The Last of Us show is becoming progressively worse and unfaithful to the game, also causing a rift among EFAP fans because Mahler continually praises it. Well, I don't want to, listen, I don't want to be that guy or whatever, but I just assume that most of EFAP is gay. I mean, or at the very least asexual or something. I think Mahler is gay, though. And so he saw the gay story and he's like, oh my god, that's awesome. Gay bros got their romantic gay story. Which Shadiversity pointed out how, honestly, it's not very romantic if you think about it. But, so he probably just liked it because he wanted to see, representation, blah blah, You know how it goes. Yeah, and Rags is bisexual, which the vast majority of bisexual men just become gay anyway, eventually.
It's fine. Mom and Dad are gone for a whole fucking week. We can do whatever we want.
Drugs. Don't do drugs, kids. Omni, thanks for $5. Forget the losers and their bad faith presentation. Cynthia or base, keep up the good videos. Merry Christmas and God bless, big guy. Thanks, man. Merry Christmas to you too. Good response. Did better than Wings and Phil. I love how everyone's comparing me to Wings of Redemption and DSP now. It's like as if I'm on any level the same as them. I mean, come on. I know they're the most well-known little cows. It's all right. Derek HG, thanks for $5. Been a while since I've caught a stream. Glad you handled the hit piece EFAP BS the right way. Keep up the good work, man. Appreciate your content. Yeah, thanks. That was one of the few times where I'm like, I should probably think about what I'm saying before I say it. And I think I put it about as best as I possibly could, all things considered. Either that or just don't address it, but I'd rather address it. Griffin Gaming is your chud, bud. I actually have listened to a couple of his reactions now. I find that hilarious. I don't agree with him on certain things, but I do. That is pretty cool that he enjoys my videos, at least as somebody. EFAP's video was just 4 hours of synth being based. Truly a crime in today's society. Yeah, I've seen what Mahler looks like IRL, so if I were him, I probably wouldn't insult other people's appearances. I'm just saying. It's not a good idea, dude. I know he tries to keep it on the down low, but several images have been on the internet for years at this point. How would I rate Smiling Friends? Probably like a 7.5. It was good. I enjoyed it. The funny thing is, a 7.5 for a game isn't that good, but for a TV show, that's definitely praise coming from me. Like, video games, I have higher standards for. I've explained this before. They cost way more money, and they have a much higher time investment. So, Smiling Friends you can watch for free, and, it's like, what, maybe 3 or 4 hours for the whole season? So, yeah, 7.5 or something. Talik, thanks for the $50. Asynth, thanks for the content. Soiler, that narcissistic grifter, getting mad at you. Edgy name calling was ridiculous. When the MCU dies, his channel will die and yours will live on. Well, thanks. Yeah, I don't think I need to speak too much further on that. I feel like I love how on a stream that is only viewed by like 10%, 15%, whatever my audience, can't even say what the fuck I want to hear. These streams are unlisted. I mean, they're in a playlist that you can find. My point is, these are not real videos, and yet people will comb through hours of this shit now, so I can't just say what I want. Strange how they couldn't have just reacted to Sin's Ragnarok review and comment and response videos. You had to edit 2.5 hours of Sin's stream clips to it. I've read the Cope posts to this. The Cope posts are basically that they were using things I said in the stream offhand, not thinking about it ever, to counter my own points or something. Again, I only watched like 10 or 15 minutes of the live and never saw any more of it, so I don't know specifically like what points they were countering with my like rambly brain dead stream mumbling. But yeah, I think it's still pretty stupid. I wish I knew just how damaging consequences of having a voiced protagonist would be. It's crazy how Fallout 4 felt so limited in its scope with dialogue, but it also had like the most lines of dialogue I think in the series. Some shit. It's just complete fucking nonsense. My favorite part of the EFAP stream was when they cried about a bundle of sticks and then tried to justify themselves by saying when we say it's funny, but he's just mean. I'll have you know, plenty of people find me funny. I know, it's like they knew how obviously hypocritical it would be, considering I know Rags. Like, fucking Mauler is famous for calling Joseph Anderson a massive blank, to the point where it became a meme in his audience to say massive, right? How the times have changed in just, what, 2 years, 3 years tops or something? Husky, thanks for $5. Kiwi Farms was on your side regarding EFAP. Very funny. I made a fan Discord called Synthetic Man. Join to grow synth cells army. Oh, there you go. There's a Discord now. Anthony Birch being a writer for God of War proves it had a woke agenda. Oh yeah, I mean, like, look at the fucking Game Awards video. Look at all the people who work for that game. And people are like, oh, it's not woke, dude. Oh, it's woke because a goddess is a Mary Sue. You know, it's like as if a god can't be a Mary Sue. Here's the thing. Kratos eats gods for breakfast, okay? So Freya being an ultra badass, you know, almost on par with them or more than on par with them, I don't fucking know. Absolutely still a valid point. Aren't gods supposed to be perfect, so to speak? Don't struggle with petty emotions, have higher standards and morals. Well, in Greek mythology, the gods are definitely flawed, but for them to be cartoonishly flawed is the real problem. Would I say the dialogue is worse than Borderlands? Probably about the same. Do I consider video games to potentially be the best art form? That almost feels like a loaded question. Though I did hear EFAP tried to argue I said video games aren't art or something, which is hilarious. I mean, I was mostly just aggravated by, you know, how boring God of War Ragnarok is. That's why I said something like that in the moment. I don't know, video games are my favorite art form, I can say that. Ranger Boo plays terrible games, thanks for $5. The Fandom Menace have been ignoring all super chats people are sending them about Mauler trying to false flag your channel. They're in damage control. Yeah, I'm thinking, I'm blacklisted from, certain groups at this point. Because here's the thing, look, I to a point, I do need to be kind of careful what I say, I guess, but I'm starting to gain the suspicion that all of this shit is grifting. Like, all of it is grifting. Like, it's getting to the point where it's like, you know, people like Nerdrotic and, I don't know, Heel versus Babyface, Ryan Kinnell, whatever the fuck. Do any of them actually care about comic books? Or is it literally just outrage farming for money? You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm just throwing the idea out there, we'll say. Oh, well, thanks, $5. What happened with EFAP? I missed that. Those guys are like atheism plus grifters moved on to pedantic reviews of consumer media. Well, yeah, I mean, to be fair, EFAP they've never been connoisseurs of entertainment. They admit that they basically only consume normie tier shit. This is why, I don't know, I find it funny when they talk about video games, because they clearly don't play very many video games. They usually don't, you know, like obviously Mauler doesn't review games anymore. Funny how it took 6 pseudo-intellectuals to criticize you. Yeah, I don't even know who the guests were on that, by the way. I'd never heard of them. One of the guests is a member of Geeks and Gamers. His name is Mark. Okay. Well, that bodes well for Geeks and Gamers, I guess. But yeah, so like I said, I'm probably blacklisted from at least one clique in the supposed anti-woke community or whatever. Anthony Birch wanted to have Kratos talk about kissing men. I'm not kidding. Yeah, I think I saw that. I forgot to put that tweet in the video. Ryan Stewart, thanks for $5. Love your work, Mr. Synthetic. It's probably a good sign that your opinions upset NPCs. I'd have to check myself if I aligned with the woke mob. Yeah, really. I don't know. It's just very bizarre, the gaslighting around God of War Ragnarok. And I'm pretty sure it exists because Last of Us 2 bombed so hard. They're trying to change the narrative around what is woke and what isn't, so that this game doesn't bomb. Now, I'm not accusing these YouTubers of shilling for Sony, but I'm just saying that there's probably a lot of shills in comments and shit. I don't know what the hell the YouTuber's motivation is, other than just having bad taste Bad taste is, unfortunately, it's terminal. I think there's no way to cure it. Harmonical Vengeance, thanks for $5. I nominate this donation to my Reformed Orthodox Rabbi Aesthetic Man. Why do people not like me? Well, I'm very insulting. People seem to think that I think my opinions are fact, and that's not true, but I do think that my opinions are certainly based on more credible experience, right? Not to play the boomer card of experience being king, but one of the things I did hear from the EFAP video in that 15 minutes is them pretending that somebody who's only played one video game is more interesting than the opinion of someone who's played, you know, like 1,000 or something. That was very cringe. Very cringe. I was like, what? They're trying way too hard. Like, you can tell when people are trying hard to make your opponent look bad, and I'm like, okay, sure. Kobold, thanks $5. Mueller has gone on for hours saying you can only make a valid review/opinion backed up with facts. Well, technically, my opinion was backed up by facts. It's just that we live in an era where truth is being assaulted. So, yeah, people just pretend something isn't a fact. Doug Keller, thanks $5. EFAP is the type of group that would gush over Callisto Protocol. Yeah, I'm wondering if I doubt any of them have played it, because again, they don't actually play games. That's the biggest meme. I love hearing people who don't really play games talk about games. Kobold, thanks $5. They're trying to hedge what is woke because they still want to enjoy their consumer products without coming across as hypocrites. Absolutely. Azama, thanks $5. I think you should see the autism when they were surprised that you were talking about the story instead of only talking about the story. It's so, what, that I talked about the gameplay and the story? Hey Morty, I've got a talking gun and it, kills people, Morty, except I can't shoot innocents. Okay? Morty, why can't I shoot innocents? Fuck, why can't I shoot them? Mauler's watching me. Yeah. Hey Mauler, how's it going, buddy? Love your work. I definitely watched all 6 hours of the Doctor Strange 2 review. I definitely saw it. I was very entertained. Very informative as well. No, seriously, I think I made it about 15 minutes and I'm like, oh boy. I have watched at least a few of his, like, videos made 2 or 3 years ago, but again, and those streams had less viewers than this stream has. I don't know why so many people started watching my streams now. I guess people found out they're more entertaining than they would have expected, I guess, or something. But my God of War streams had about 500 viewers, active viewers on average, so they added up to, you know, I don't know, like 8,000 viewers per stream or something. That's fucking nothing. Maybe 10,000? I don't remember. All it really cares about what you have to say, since it keeps him up at night. Well, I think he's a great guy. Awesome dude, truly. Not fat, not autistic, not balding even more than me. None of those things. Great dude. Ironically, the dude who hates me, British Potato, I think was pejoratively using against me the fact I said that I'm not a real YouTuber. I still don't think I'm a real YouTuber, even after being acknowledged by real YouTubers. Because to be a real YouTuber is to assume that you really give a shit about being professional in some fashion. Do you think YouTubers back in like 2010 said, I'm a YouTuber? No, they made fun of that shit. Like, I remember when Game Grumps made fun of that shit back in 2012, 2013, or whatever. I know you guys were all thinking what I was thinking about a certain member of EFAP that seems reasonable, you know, from what I've seen of this person. I've even seen that person's Doctor Who video, not the whole thing, because I don't have an attention span for a video that long, but I watched some of that person's video, but you know, pattern recognition, every time you introduce a certain type of person to your group, it seems to start to fall to pieces eventually. I'm just saying, these guys used to be edgy, ER is unironically alt-right, and people coping with the fact that he's joking, it's like, have you even seen the Steven Universe videos they deleted off of YouTube? If you've seen those videos, you know it's not a fucking joke. ER has done worse shit than I ever did. Like, absolutely worse stuff. And people are, you know, they choose me as a target. What I say is my most watched vid today. Oh, dude, you'll never believe what my most watched video is. It kind of annoys me. It's funny in an ironic way. My fucking Heimdall YouTube short is my most viewed video on the channel. It's like 1.2 million views now or something. I'm like, I made that in like an hour just from a joke in the God of War review, and it has 1.2 million views. It fucking surpassed the Far Cry 6. Iceman97, thanks for 20 bucks. I'm not surprised about Mauler didn't talk 1v1 because he wouldn't wit with Jack Saint unless Rags was there, and didn't like where he stood as a creator and beliefs, and Cosmonaut just straight up saw it as pointless anyway. Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely pointless. I was just gonna go on there and do exactly what I said I would do. So, I mean, the reason they didn't invite me on is completely fair, I think. Yeah, I had no intentions of actually debating them, because, like, how do you debate someone who makes a hit piece on you? Obviously, they have no intention of, playing fair. I mean, it would be 1v6. There's no way I'm debating. I'm just gonna shout, you know, I'm gonna say things I shouldn't say. He didn't want to come on EFAP anytime he had a different opinion, because he knew they would just dogpile him and try and bully him into having the same opinion, which sounds about right. That's why I'm saying debating is a waste of time. You're not going to convince anybody. You're not even going to convince the third party, because there is no third party. The people who watch EFAP are obsessed autists. We know this. Basically, EFAP says at some point, it'd be more interesting to hear the opinion of someone who's only played one video game than someone who's played a lot. They compared me to DSP, I think. And we were just talking about how absurd that is, but then what me and my brother also were talking about is that, like, G-Man Lives is an example of someone who's played, you know, more FPS games than 99.99% of people, but he also has very low standards, so playing a lot of games obviously doesn't necessarily mean that you have good taste. Guillermo Diaz, thanks for $5. Can confirm, I watch you and EFAP and I am an obsessed autist. Too bad there's drama between you guys now, but I'll keep watching you guys anyway. You know, the drama's kind of one-sided. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not gonna pretend I'm not fucking annoyed with this whole situation. I don't know, I didn't... It's not like I made a video on them, you know? Also, why do Mauler, etc. have a hate boner for you? You guys would get along fine, as far as I know. I think they're pretending to be enlightened centrists now, so they want to sever ties with any alt-right people or something, whatever. I'm sorry, but I can't get over how pathetic Mauler is just because of a little bit of trash talk from you in a stream. He put together a 4-hour video just smug. Yeah. That's another thing that's weird. Does anyone else find it weird that, like, Sargon used to be in, like, he wasn't just a guest on EFAP. He actually was in the chat on several EFAPs as well. Now, obviously, he's no ER, but Sargon is not the old school liberal or whatever that he claims to be anymore. Trust me, you can tell. Just, yeah, listen to podcasts of Lotus Eaters. Nicholas Craven, thanks for 10 bucks. Gotta be real, I've never seen the appeal of Mauler. He could easily be won back to mainstream Marvel fandom if they just returned to the mediocre 2015 era stuff. I just want it all to just collapse. Yeah, I'm absolutely with you. Yeah, like, fucking superheroes have, worn out their welcome at this point. Cape shit is pretty much dead to me. They can't recover from this in the near future. Sir Needs Coffee somehow gained over 100,000 subs in like 1 week, and he's trying to paint you as being salty over it. Did he actually buy subs? Don't tell me he actually fucking bought subs. That's giga cringe. Alright, I guess I can show on screen the blatant view botting that Sir Needs Coffee did. Oh, Jesus Christ. 148,000 subs. What the fuck? I mean, why though? Obviously, it's not translating to views. Let's see shorts. Someone said he had like 1 million views short or something. Jesus Christ, that is 918,000. Some of these are just tagging a dude called Zong or Jong. But I don't understand. YouTube shorts make no sense. I just don't get it. Yeah, like these fucking shorts get like a fuck ton of views for some reason. It's so weird. I guess Zoomers really do understand like the TikTok meta, but like a bunch of these that are getting a shit ton are just tagging other people. I don't fucking understand. I wonder if that's a cheat code. Is this the trans vampire thing? It's like a male version of Marceline or something, or it's just Marceline. Did Marceline wear a man's clothes at some point? I don't fucking know. I forgot. I'm not watching that. I don't give a shit. I've given him enough attention. I just want to point out the 148,000 subs. The 4chan degenerates. What the fuck happened to Turkey Tom's channel? Here's another one. You know, he started as a teenage kid, and now he's doing, like... He did the same thing that Emp Lemon is doing, where he's doing these super boring, like, almost documentary-style videos. And they're awful, and they get 1 million views every time. There's nothing wrong with looking up interesting stories and then telling that story to an audience, but the presentation is important, and Turkey Tom's clearly reading the script in a very monotone voice. What do I think of Angry Joe? The amount of times I've been asked that. I don't watch Angry Joe anymore. We could watch an Angry Joe video. That could be a good way to end a stream. We could just watch an Angry Joe video. Let's see if he's changed at all in the 5 year. I mean, I haven't, like, actively watched him in 5 years or more. Honestly, the 2016 election was the moment where I'm like, oh boy, he's going off his rocker, dude. Watch his Henry Cavill vid? Sure, why not? I'm sure he'll rage about this for a while. Wait, no! That meme is funny. Okay, let's skip. See, this is the problem, is people are gonna say my rage is like this, but it's not. I can't fake this shit. Is that fucking G Fuel in the back? Oh my god, look at all that G Fuel, dude. What the fuck? Is a G Fuel mini fridge. You know what? Isn't that kind of funny? I make videos in 1440. My videos are higher quality than Angry Joe's. Like, the footage isn't always because of certain recording issues that I have sometimes, but my videos are higher quality. Anyway, the fucking never mind. Let's just keep going.
Why? Nobody gives a shit about a Superman origin story.
I hear James Cameron's comments about testosterone being a poison, how it needs to be purged. No, is he fucking getting off his rocker? I know he funded that vegan documentary that my mother watched, and it was very... I watched some of it, and I'm like, this is just fucking stupid. The vegan documentary was total propaganda. James Cameron, he's lost his fucking mind.
You fucking disrespected him over and over.
What am I even supposed to say about this? I mean, even if he does care about this much, like, I don't know, it just kind of seems like a cartoonish presentation, you know? Like, why is it the Angry Joe gets away with this, but I'm never allowed to be, like, overly angry or emotional in some way? What's this guy's name again? It's such a stupid joke, but it does make me smile every time. Look at all these Twitter tabs, dude. He's gotta limit his notifications too. Look, he has 536 notifications on YouTube. I changed it so it's only a select few things I've subscribed to, and like if people at me, that also notifies me, you know, if someone tags me on something. Okay, he reviewed fucking Red. Oh my god. He's gotta stop with the fucking costumes, dude. Look at that. Oh my god. No, I don't even want to watch that. Like, I'm already cringing at the muscle suit. Looks so bad. No, I can't watch that. I can't. The cringe levels are too high. No, I can't do it, guys. That's too much. That's too much for me. So what I was talking about with Fallout New Vegas, when you go to the fort, you know, the Legion place, so you can enter the Legion arena, which has captured slaves. You can fight slaves and you can fight captured soldiers, right? You fight in this Legion arena, right? You kill a couple slaves, and it's machetes. You fight with machetes to the death. And remember all this, it's important. So you defeat 2 slaves, then you defeat a captured NCR soldier, and then the champion of the arena is a female NCR ranger who is undefeated and beats people to death with her fists. So again, I mean, you know, New Vegas is not woke. What are you, crazy? Why would you think that's woke? I don't know, maybe you don't remember the game. Because as someone who played the game yet again, there's plenty of things I could talk about Honest Hearts. There's an interesting little controversy around Honest Hearts. For those who don't remember, the entire crux of the conflict is there is a tribe called the Whitelegs who want to join Caesar's Legion, and to prove themselves, they need to kill the Sorrows tribe in Zion. And so, the two characters representing, like, the philosophy around this are Joshua Graham, who, you know, is the former legate, basically a general of Caesar's army, and Daniel, who is a hippie, peace-loving retard who is the incorrect choice, and you'd have to be a moron to think that his is valid in any way. And again, just sort of reveals some of the developers' personal ideology a little bit, that they thought that peace made any sense in that situation. But still, whatever. The fact that they give you a choice, you could argue, you know, that's not woke, so whatever, that's fine. But the real problem, the actual controversy, and I didn't know about this until a video I just watched, or at least I didn't know about one major detail of it, is Daniel is supposed to be Asian, and apparently someone fucked this up. One of the developers did before release. And you might be wondering, well, why does it matter if he's Asian? Well, yeah, exactly. And the problem is the good old great white savior, the whole white savior complex. I'm sure you've heard white savior complex. And the other half of the controversy is that due to limitations of the Gamebryo engine at the time, they could only have each tribe of Zion, the Dead Horses being the third one. So Dead Horses, Sorrows, and Whitelegs. Each one could only be one in-game race. For some reason, either Chris Avalon or Josh Sawyer, I don't know which one was the head of this DLC. I don't remember. The video I watched did say it. I just don't remember. They thought it made sense for tribes, a tribal society, to be multiracial. Which, again, we could get into arguments about this shit. It is a fantasy, you know, science. It's basically science fantasy. You can say it's science fiction. It's more like science fantasy. So, really, like, logic doesn't matter. But the reason why it was a problem, and again, I just think it's far more realistic that without any of the modern poison of society, that people want to be around people that look like them. They've done studies on this, that all races except white have an in-group bias, right? And anyone who's been outside and talked to people, had experiences, you know, knows that everyone's a little bit racist, basically. The difference is, in modern society, white people are racist against themselves. That's what the study basically found, even though it didn't phrase it that way. The controversy, right, is that since Daniel is supposed to be Asian, he's instead white, and Joshua Graham is white, that means his two white guys, Mormons, are saving the stupid brown tribals, right? Because they were tan, at least from being outside. I don't know what race they're actually supposed to be. Doesn't matter. The point is, it's like the white people saved the Native Americans. And this is back in 2011. 2011, this was a problem. So again, for everyone thinking that wokeness didn't exist before 2014, it existed forever, basically. Not forever, literally. Weimar, Germany is probably the true origin. But if we want to talk in more recent history, really the origin was the end of Occupy Wall Street, if you look into it. That's where the progressive stack came from. So the people were like, what do you mean New Vegas is woke? Yeah. There was one guy, I can't remember his username. The point is, one guy last stream. It's like, bro, you have to dig beneath the surface. If you just look at surface level elements like female supremacy, which, see, the problem is people's sensitivity sliders, so to speak, for wokeness are way too low. You need to turn that shit up, because if the only thing that makes you cringe is like bunch of people chopping their dicks off and wearing dresses and having full beards and shit, that being in media is the only thing that triggers you or something, that doesn't mean your definition is correct. That's just your personal problem, okay? I gave my definition of woke in that escapism is dead video. It's basically any left-wing propaganda or whatever, right? Listen, propaganda is debatable, but the point is like, it's still cringe and terrible. So there you go. I'm not going to rant about it anymore. I got out most of my piece. Todd Howard, thanks $5. But that makes no sense. All the tribes are basically white with a bit of native mixed in. The Dead Horses literally speak pig German. Exactly. I can bring up the video. Triangle City is the YouTube channel. The video was Honest Hearts cut content. And he brought up an interview, I think from Josh Sawyer, where it explained they felt bad that game journalists, again, in 2011, were already complaining about the white savior trope. So again, this shit's been around longer than some of us might think. Basically, trusting Mr. House is the equivalent of trusting some billionaire to save the world. And I don't know, that's a big part of how we got into this mess in the first place. You could argue that we've never been a truly libertarian society. I don't know, the same reason why I don't think communism would work, I don't think libertarianism would work either. So I don't think Mr. House is quite the right choice, but it'd probably be better than NCR. But the gay guy you knew from high school, would he have been okay if he was the exact same person as straight? Well, he was flamboyantly gay, which is why he annoyed me. I don't really have a problem with gay people or just normal people. Now, I guarantee that there's going to be some people who are going to write some comments about that. But listen, I don't want to talk about statistics because I don't know the sources for the specific statistic I'm thinking of. But you at the end of the day, it's a choice if you want to perpetuate the cycle of abuse. That's what I'll say, to be vague, right? You can absolutely have been molested and not molest kids to, you know, reproduce that way, you know what I mean? And there are some who just become that way naturally, right? Just like in nature. You know, like, you can't choose to be abused as a child, and if you just naturally became gay, then, I mean, what the fuck? 19.7% of Gen Z identify as gay. Now, if you remove women seeking attention, that statistic is probably a bit more reasonable, because a lot of that is teenage girls who want to be special. God, what a gross design, too.
This witch came from the moon. You're gonna wish she didn't.
A shitty Destiny reference on top of all these other quips being terrible and the voice being clearly not a woman. This witch came from the moon. Remember Destiny? I remember.
Get in my way, and you'll wish I hexed you instead.
It almost sounds like it's been pitch shifted, you know what I mean? Like it's been pitch shifted higher slightly. That's what it sounds like. What's up with this weird voice? Well, you know, what does a weird voice mean in the modern times?
Enjoy a look at glowing feminine energy before it ends you.
Oh no! Oh no! Now I'm officially glad I clicked on this. Glowing feminine energy from an XY. Yeah. If you got, it's fucking literally woman face, dude. That's what the woman face shit is. Like, that, you can't get any more blatant. I have, well, met, you can put in quotes, but at a Walmart one time I did see a trans person, and I was with my dad, my brother, actually, and it was so weird. Like, you know, me and my brother were obviously repulsed naturally, but when I talked to my dad afterward, he was just sad. Because my dad didn't really, we'll say like 2017, 2018, and my dad didn't really know that much about the trans stuff. I mean, he knew obviously about like transvestites or whatever, transsexual. That transgender was basically the same thing to him, which, you know, is what a normal person would think, obviously. But so just seeing like a person, like a clear like man, like I think the dude was taller than us. No pretense with the misgendering here. Individual is like 6 feet tall, clearly looks like a man in every way, but I can't remember exactly what were the feminine. It was like painted nails, makeup or something, and like feminine clothes. And it was just, my dad was sad, and it was just like, that just kind of, that's something I always remember. My dad, like I said earlier in the stream, doesn't really like gay people. He's homophobic in the traditional sense. It's weird to see when he saw it, he was sad instead of repulsed. That was weird. I think he even said something like, he's just confused. That's what he said. Now, my dad's different now because all this stuff is much more public and forced down your throat. I definitely find that funny because it's not something that, you know, you'd think about, because the incel doesn't really, it doesn't mean anything anymore. It's just basically women. It's become a synonym for misogynist to women, where they'll call married men with children incels, and it's like, you literally do not know what this word means, and your ego is so comically large that, you know, when people tell you you're factually incorrect, they're like, no, anyone can be an incel. It's like, what are you talking about, dude? Involuntary celibate. You know, it's not that hard. Jesus Christ, thanks to 10 bucks. I Chinese. I eat... I Chinese. I eat Labrador cooked in gutter oil. There you go. It's been a while since I've done... we gotta get another cuck simulator type game where I could just do shitty racist accents, because that was fun. I think it's about time to do something like that again. That just kind of showed to me how retarded people are. Like, people literally don't know anything about what actually happened. But yeah, with the Gamergate thing, it's just, again, it's kind of hard to think of it this way, because I feel like my 20s have just been a blur, but I was 18, I guess, or, you know, was going to turn 18 soon when Gamergate happened, but it doesn't really feel that way, I guess, since I was still in high school. It was such an eye-opening thing. That was the moment, and the sad thing is, from 2014 to, we'll say 2017, the adpocalypse specifically, it didn't take long after that, it seemed like there were a significant amount of YouTubers on our general side, even if they weren't Gamergaters. They were against Anita Sarkeesian, against like what Brianna Wu stood for, and all that type of shit, even if they didn't really do any research into the movement itself. But I just feel like even if you knew almost nothing about Gamergate, like if you knew the most basic shit, which is basically, you know, Zoe Quinn slept with 5 guys to get good reviews, which, you know, is where it started, but eventually turned into, okay, journalists literally have a mailing list where they communicate and they all give games high scores, and the sad thing is they're not even paid off. They're just given review codes and like exclusives. That's it. They're not even fucking money. They're cheap sluts. That's what game journalists are, right? And now YouTubers are like that. That's almost every major review YouTuber is the exact same way. But it wasn't that way for a while, and now, you know, everything's shit because of people want money. I think Volcel is always cope. It's more that if you're Volcel, probably by definition, most incels are Volcel because they're just not willing to lower their standards enough. I've read enough to know these fuckers are lying when they're saying they're asking out the 300-pound, you know, bitch with like the fat lump on her head. Like, you've seen those morbidly obese women where literally their forehead stores fat and they look like the most disgusting thing you've ever seen. There's plenty of those. Most are Volcel by definition. It's because you have to think in the old days. I mean, granted, morbid obesity didn't exist, you know, 100 years ago. The fattest woman in the world in, what was like 1920 or something, I remember seeing this article. The fattest woman in the world was like 315 pounds or something. And now we literally have a TV show, My 600-Pound Life, right? Where there's plenty of people over 600 pounds. There's 1,000-pounders that are kept alive by the disgusting horrors of modern science, you know, medicine. Yeah, Sarkeesian is definitely irrelevant. She was the sacrificial lamb for the left, where her reputation had been tarnished beyond recovery. But if she was coming up now, she would be one of the huge, like, lefty personalities. But she was the great enemy, the last great enemy that gamers fought against. And then, you know, we've been so overtaken by normies and just brain dead people that it's never gonna happen. I'd say all the largest websites on the internet, probably like the top 5 or 6 social media sites, should be considered public spaces. And at the very least, I know not most countries in the world don't believe in free speech, but find a way so, and I know people would just use a VPN to then try and get free speech rights, and you know what, good for you. I think everyone should do that. But I think anyone who has like a US IP should have free speech on all social media platforms. We should be able to say whatever we want, including all the slurs.